going, Joe? Hell, you don't know. Say where you going, Joe? Hell, you don't know. You've been to the top of the mountain and you've been to the sea.
Okay, we are rolling along at 0.3 miles from the McDougall Casa. We are now on our way. Let's see, testing. Can you see me? Is that good? You are a genius, a true marvel at audiovisual technology and drama. Good, okay. Looks to me like we're going all of 10 miles an hour. This is actually the worst part. Driving next to the car doors. You never know when someone's gonna hand one to you. "99 bottles of beer on the wall, 99 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 98 bottles of beer on the wall. 98 bottles of beer on the wall. 98 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 97 bottles of beer on the wall. 97 bottles of beer on the wall. 97 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 96 bottles of beer on the wall." Here's my favorite store on the left. I'm sorry, rather the right. REI. Shameless plug for them. Hey, maybe we'll get corporate sponsorship. Except I can't remember their slogan. Something about muscle-powered adventure. Okay. Take one down, pass it around. 93 bottles of beer on the wall. You just ran over a hubcap with my wife's car. And that's not even gonna make my deductible. This film can be used as evidence in court if I get hit, so just keep filming. I would have had a white Bronco joke for you there, but that wasn't a white Bronco. Wow, Peter, you are such a good listener. I bet you your wife tells you that all the time. You don't talk back. You don't interrupt me. It makes me feel like you really care. Take one down, pass it around. 92 bottles of beer on the wall. This is also an exercise in cognitive memory skills. Might be able to make some money if I submit myself to UCLA testing. But I think the entry exam is successful completion of the bottles of beer on the wall song, of which I think I already messed up on number 96. 92 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 91 bottles of beer on the wall. This isn't even a real hill yet. Fortunately, there's only one of them, and I only have to do it once. Because after all, I am 40. On our right, we're now passing the lovely San Fernando Valley street of Melvin. A lovely fir-lined street, coniferous, very healthy, provides a very pleasant character. Or should I say, howdy y'all! Welcome to the North San Fernando Valley. Today, we will be doing a bicycle tour of a 40-year-old's memory. Strap yourselves in, folks. It's not going to be pretty. By the way, when you edit that, I don't want that taken out of context. Here, let me pull close to you. Don't swerve. Oh. You probably didn't know this fact, but they recently removed, or added rather, an at-grade crossing to the Union Pacific Railroad, which lies approximately 1 mile to the south. That would be left in driver's talk. And this road now passes over the 118 freeway after years and years of simply dead ending, and goes to the lovely North San Fernando Valley community of Porter Ranch, where now you can buy everything from diapers to fishing boats in one large community shopping center. Freeway close. 90 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 89 bottles of beer on the wall. 89 bottles of beer on the wall. Take one down, pass it around. 87 bottles of beer on the wall. 87's a good number. It's the year my wife graduated from high school in the lovely community of Camarillo, California. By the way, we'll be passing by a home of the Scorpions, which is the mascot of Camarillo High. You'll see it on the right in about 2 hours. 87 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 86 bottles of beer on the wall. Interesting thing about numbers, 86 was the year I left Canoga High School, took the proficiency in the GED, and started Pierce College. Also the important year that I started dating my wife. My wife-to-be, rather. July 21st, 1986. Our first date. 86 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 85 bottles of beer on the wall. Numbers don't lie. 85 is the year I moved to beautiful sunny Southern California and became a Canoga Park hunter for a brief 1-year period. By the way, By the way, no animals were harmed while I served in the capacity of hunter. That just happened to be the mascot of the gang-infested school of Canoga Park High. Irony. It's a funny thing. 85 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 84 bottles of beer on the wall. 84 bottles of beer on the wall. 84 bottles of beer. Wow. Car wash at 4:13 a.m. I guess you don't have to worry about sunspots. We are now safely within the community boundaries of Chatsworth, California. Some claim it's the home of the pornography industry, but I think that title now belongs to Canoga Park, the lovely residential community to our south. This Ralph's was formerly a Hughes market as late as 1994, I believe, when the Hughes chain was purchased by Food for Less. First railroad crossing, successful. Okay, if this next street is Owensmouth, no, I'm not going to take a right here because traffic is so light. I don't believe there's an advantage at this hour. So we will continue to the red light, which is Topanga Canyon Boulevard. Hang a right, heading north. And that guy is saying, who's the dude with the banana on his roof? Doing a slow drive-by in Chatsworth. Okay. Next light is Chatsworth Street. And after that, I believe, is Santa Susana, where we will take a left. Actually, though, you will go up to the second light and take a left. I, on the other hand, think I may take a lower elevation detour. Well, let's see. There's a road that goes over an old road that goes over the Union Pacific Railroad tracks up here that has lower elevation, but I don't know the status of fences and debris, so I think I'll just stay on Topanga Canyon. 84 bottles of beer, take one down, pass it around. 83 bottles of beer on the wall, 81 bottles of beer on the wall, 81 bottles of beer, take one down, pass it around. 80 bottles of beer on the wall. We are now at approximately 6 miles. And I smell the distinct odor of skunk in the air. And horse manure. I believe both skunk and horse manure. Take one down, pass it around. 73 bottles of beer on the wall. "73 bottles of beer on the wall, 73 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 72 bottles of beer on the wall." Actually, going retro to 73, That actually is the year my natural father passed away. Long time ago. 72 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 71 bottles of beer on the wall. Take one down, pass it around. 70 bottles of beer on the wall. 70. Now there's a magic year. It's the year my parents, whilst living in Eugene, Oregon, became Buddhists. And I and my family have been practicing Buddhist ever since. And actually that's where my wife and I met. Our Buddhism teaches that every individual has an unlimited power to become happy and tap the ultimate power of their own life, which I suppose in large part is why I'm doing this adventure, which is greater than any physical muscle-powered adventure I've done before. A belief that we can do anything we set our minds to, or, in the process, gain the wisdom to know why perhaps what we set out to do wasn't the right thing. I, however, believe this adventure is the right thing. Nevertheless, that is where what I would like to call ceaseless optimism comes from. 70 bottles of beer, take one down, pass it around. 69 bottles of beer on the wall. The wonderful year that my wife was born, 1969. 69 bottles of beer, take one down, pass it around. 68 bottles of beer on the wall. 68, of course, being the year that I was born. 68 bottles of beer, take one down, pass it around. 67 bottles of beer on the wall. I feel very safe with a chaperone here. Makes it quite nice. I don't believe this is Los Angeles yet. Fifty-six, 55 bottles of beer on the wall. Stop at 55 is the former national highway speed limit. It's a good round number. While I reach into my pocket and scavenge a snack. Aha! Thought I lost an energy bar there for a minute. Tennis shoe. Hope the person doesn't need that tennis shoe. Actually, I hope the person does need that tennis shoe. Hopefully they are able-bodied and shoeless, rather than no longer needing their right shoe. Uh-oh. Stoplight. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes. $54 bottles of beer on the wall. 54 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 53 bottles of beer on the wall. 53 bottles of beer on the wall. 53 bottles of beer. Little point to acknowledge here. This is our third crossing of the same Union Pacific Railroad, which is also one of the two railroads passing through Burbank, California. Actually, third that I know of. 2 surface and 1 tunnel crossing, but it's quite possible that as we went over the Santa Susana Pass, we may have crossed the tunnel a couple more times there. 53 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. Road debris. 52 bottles of beer on the wall. 51 bottles of beer on the wall. 51 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 50 bottles of beer on the wall. I think we'll have to stop there for a little bit because we're barely a third of the way there. Actually, just under a third of the way there. And I'm halfway through the song. And I don't know that you want to hear "Over the River and Through the Woods to Grandmother's House We Go." Although, Peter, you and I could play I Spy for about an hour or so. With my little eye, something that is green. Something happened to my bike lane. It appears to have run out of federal funding. I'll have to get Ken Johnson and David Kriske to look into some reciprocity with Simi Valley. Oh, I spoke too soon. Here's my bike path. Well, we've been traveling for 1 hour and we have gone just about a third of the way. That's pretty encouraging to me. That means we're on target for a 3-hour, give or take, first leg. That would, of course, assume straight line endurance and not a rapid trailing off of my energy and stamina as we approach the beach. We shall see. We do have gravity and elevation loss on our side, of course. I like the green light metaphor for my journey. It's all green lights and clear roads. Nice paved suburban streets and lush green vegetation. Oh, just missed it. Well, not just. That would have been a full red light run there. Oh. Behringer. We're getting toward the east end of the valley here. Hey, honk if my red light's still flashing back there. All right. Okay. This is Madera up here. And I believe very soon Los Angeles will turn into Tierra Rajada. Not at this light, but up at the next light. And we just go straight. I'll definitely need your cover up here because I think once we get out of the city limits, it's a soft shoulder on the right, and it may still be an unlit highway. I wonder if we get credit for carpooling under the Burbank rideshare program right now. I mean, after all, we are only burning 1 tank of gas. Boy, this headlamp's working great on this bike. I can see way out in front of me. Excellent. Ooh, glad that thing didn't go right by me. Holy moly, that's what those rumble strips feel like on a bicycle. Woo! That's like a not Herman Miller. That's like a full-on body massage right there. Holy crap! Okay. Just when you thought you were on the quiet side of things. Grooved concrete and low-hanging pepper trees. Holy crap. Okay. Woo! Concrete and fast-moving automobiles. $16 bottles of beer on the wall. 16 bottles of beer. Just finished the beer song. go! Sycamore Canyon! We did it! We're here! Cycling over! We, you and me together. Just finished 44.9 miles of cycling. And we're here at the north end of Point Mugu State Beach, where I am going to actually, you can't actually see the break here, but I'm going to launch the kayak and then paddle for 4 miles down to Big Sycamore Beach. So looks pretty calm, no wind. I'm excited.
Tell me what the bike ride was like.
The bike ride was definitely a challenge, but the tried and true 99 bottles of beer on the wall helped me pass the time during some of the monotony. Once we got through Camarillo and the sun started coming up, it was a lot easier. I mean, it was mainly just long. So it was pretty cool. I mean, it was nice. We talked about the what was it, the two worlds thing, you know. I was riding for fun on my 40th birthday, and here's these farm workers riding their bikes to work. I couldn't help but notice the guys who were sprinting up and down the fields with those, what are they, like 15-gallon buckets for picking berries. So I do appreciate this as a leisure activity instead of my daily vocation. But this is great. This is great. So far, I'm ahead of my estimated schedule. I estimated 3.5 hours for this first leg, and we did it in about 3 hours and 15 minutes or so. I feel good. If this is what 40 feels like, I feel good. I feel fatigued, but I'll have a rest for a couple hours on my legs before we start the hike, and I'm stoked. And I have my trusty life vest that I use for family kayaking and long baths, long hot baths. Oh look, I've lost weight since the last time I wore it. See, good things about being 40. That was the tie, by the way. Okay, I've got my radio, my GPS, and we need to get the kayak off and the bicycle in. I'm glad to see that nothing fell off while you were driving the car. Kayak is a rental from my local sports chalet, $40 a day. And just so happens my foam canoe rack blocks worked.
That was your creation?
This is it's a factory-made canoe rack system for a Highlander. Don't worry, Peter, it's only about 70 pounds. I don't need your help or anything. It's hollow and sealed so that it won't sink. Perfect for resort and occasional kayakers, because they generally search for the body in the location they find the kayak floating. Bugs! Oh, perfect surf. Beautiful.
What's your experience with this kind of thing?
Every year my daughter and I go to Catalina with the YMCA, and we do some ocean kayaking there. We start in kind of a protected cove, but the surf's kind of like this. So we launch a 2-person kayak. We canoe occasionally on some non-motorized boat lakes, but I don't do it enough to own one. So I kayaked once before this summer on flat inland waters. So this looks like ideal conditions. Frankly, I couldn't be happier with how this looks right now. Going to go for it. I don't even really have a particular strategy, except the next time this gets calm, I'm just gonna shoot for it. Well, we did it. I did it. A little slower than I expected. Not that it took more time, but you're just staring at the same spot the whole time. But very nice out there.
What muscles are you using? What kind of exhaustion is there, if any?
The lungs, arms, and I can feel it in the back and the torso. So, and I had some leg cramping here because you have to stabilize yourself in the kayak. So I think after riding 45 miles, I've been sitting stationary in the boat for an hour and 15 minutes. Actually, just after about 15 minutes, I started getting some cramping in my leg. And it went away. But scenery didn't change a whole lot. I was just staring at this point over here and just shot toward that point the whole way from McGough Rock where we started. It was good. We're done. One more leg. Uh, 45 miles of cycling and just a hair short of 4 miles on the paddling, so that's 49 miles, and we've got 14 miles of hiking to do. So that's what, 63 miles by the just after lunchtime today. Probably be done in 5 hours, which would put us at about 2:30. I'll be done. So
is this the toughest workout up to this point in your 40 years?
I think so. So far, we're already been 4.5 hours at it, so.
All right. No one wants to see your topless on camera.
I'm not going to go topless. Don't worry. I won't show you body hair you haven't seen. I washed up, had a little cold outdoor shower there at the campground. We loaded up the kayak and changed clothes, had lunch or late second breakfast, and we're ready to hit Big Sycamore Canyon up to Boney Mountain and Sandstone Peak. It's approximately 13 to 14 miles. It's in Point Mugu State Park and then connects up with Circle X Ranch, all of which is part of the Santa Monica Mountain National Recreation Area. And I'm ready to go. It's 10 o'clock and hopefully 4.5 hours we'll be in the last half mile or so coming down the hill. So we landed across the street over here at the Sycamore, Big Sycamore Beach. This is the Big Sycamore campground. My family actually camps here every year with the YMCA in June, and we ride bicycles and do a little bit of hiking in this campground. But where I'm going is cutting from the canyon up to the Backbone Trail, and then the Backbone Trail includes Boney Mountain and Sandstone Peak, which is at about 3,000 feet. Well, I've now got my trekking poles. Now
what happened?
Well, I forgot them. And got about 3/4 of a mile down the trail and saw someone else with their poles and realized I had left mine in the car. So I doubled back, and now with 1.5 miles under my belt, I'm ready to start out again. So on we go. We're gonna follow the pavement to a gate, and then it's gravel road until I get to a creek bed, and then I'm gonna take a trail up a creek bed and up the mountain. So we're gonna walk up this Big Sycamore Canyon Road to Serrano Canyon Trail, which is 1.1 miles. And that's where I'm going to start heading up the mountain for the last leg of this grand McForty adventure. This scenery with the sycamores and the other vegetation will be much like this all the way up the canyons, but you can see on the hillsides that once we get up even just 100 feet, it turns into pretty dry scrub brush. So it should be like this for a couple of miles, and then it'll get drier. Although there's some springs and other areas up on top of Boney Mountain, so there's quite a bit of vegetation up there.
You're going at least a half marathon on this hiking trail.
Yeah, it should be about 13 miles, well, or 14, depending upon how some of the uncharted parts of the trail go.
And that's a half marathon on top of everything else.
Yeah, I've never quite done it with 3 hours of cycling for 45 miles and an hour and a half of paddling.
So you could easily walk a marathon, like the LA Marathon or something.
Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. I've done 26 miles up in Angeles National Forest in a day, and up to 34 miles in Cleveland National Forest in a day. It depends on terrain, though. The 34 miles was from 6,000 feet at Mount Laguna down to a place called Scissor Crossing in Anza Borrego. That was at about 2,000, so it was mostly downhill. It was a long haul. I prefer the scenery, though, in the mountains. Take a little weight off the knees. They also help balance because you're spreading out the load. And also sometimes your arms can tend to get a little bit of fatigue because you're not really using them. They're just sitting by your sides when you're walking. And when you use the trekking poles, when I use them, I don't get any shoulder pain or anything when I hike.
Did Lewis and Clark use those?
Lewis and Clark, they used steel. These are like a chrome alloy, or maybe they used iron poles.
So the idea of poles, I was kidding, has been around then for a while. It's not like they were just free
Clark.
freestyling.
I don't think Lewis and Clark actually used poles. I think I think these poles, the genesis of these poles were people that started using ski poles. And for hiking purposes, they made them collapsible and also shock absorbing. These have been kind of beat up, but they do their job well. So with that, I'm going to press on. Going to cruise on up from here, so I'll see you up at Sandstone Peak.
So what have you encountered? Did you wet your pants?
These are moisture-wicking undergarments. There is no urine in that moisture. It all happens to be perspiration.
So what do you have to say at this very moment? Still fatigued and still not done.
At this very moment, I have to say that this was a more than adequate challenge to prove my fitness on my 40th birthday. About 4 miles ago, I hit a fairly decent mental wall with about 1,000 feet to climb to this point where we are right now. And
what's your water situation?
oh, I still have probably 1.5 liters. I'm doing okay.
And you're cognizant enough to use the metric system. I'm very impressed.
Yes. Yes, it's actually 2.5 liters and probably whatever's left in my dromedary bag.
So what you were talking about the walk. The last time we saw you, you were just starting off. In a couple of minutes or less, what's happened?
Last time when we parted, I was just starting out on the Serrano Canyon Trail, which is an absolutely spectacular trail. I would dub it perhaps one of my favorite in the Santa Monica Mountains. The trail winds along a creek that in many places still has trickling surface water. And the trail winds for about 1.5 miles, winds in hollows in the vegetation. It's just absolutely stunning, and there's even a few places with canopies and ferns all over the place. And when you come out of the Serrano Canyon Trail, you come up onto this mesa that looks like it used to be cattle grazing grounds, because it's all these expansive fields of grass. And then you look up at these mountains with all these stone pinnacles from you look up at all these mountains with all the stone pinnacles from down there, and it's absolutely stunning. Truly amazing. And then about another 2 miles later, you start the serious climb up this mountain, which was definitely a challenge after the 49 miles of cycling and paddling this morning. At this point, we're standing at the sign. It's probably about a 1/4 mile up to Sandstone Peak, which has beautiful panoramic views of the entire Santa Monica Mountains. I'm electing not to go up there. I've been up there about 10 years ago. Right now, I think if we use all due speed, we can be to the car in about 20 minutes, maybe a half hour. And I would really like food other than what I have in my backpack. At this present time, I can't bear to even let red vines, sour jelly bellies, or power bars cross my lips. So I'm going to drink water and hopefully get some fresh fruit and maybe even some canned trout fillets from Trader Joe's when we get back. And I have my son's soccer practice to coach, a team of 8 6-year-olds in 2 hours and 20 minutes. So yeah, head to the car, pop some ibuprofen, have some refreshing cold drinks, and beat our way home. We're going to go down that way.
You've been to the top of the mountain and you've been down to the bottom of the sea, and I think you're gonna look for more, but I don't know if you'll be any more that Joe that I used to know. Now that you're 40, hell, wait till you're 50. Shit, wait till you're 60. Hell, wait till you're my age, then you'll really get a snootful. Where you going, Joe? Hell, you don't know. Where you going, Joe? You don't know. I seen you on the path, and I saw you go last, but Joe, you just don't know. Just wait till you're like 70 or 80 or 90 or something like that.
Well, this time last year, when I turned 39, I set out to formulate an adventure, some kind of challenge that would prove both challenging and interesting to celebrate my 40th birthday. And I have to say, with the urging and cajoling of Peter Musurlian, the adventure, now dubbed Joe McForty, totaling 62 miles of cycling, kayaking, and hiking, pretty much tested my limits, and I have to say I really enjoyed it as well. The cycling was fun and really nice this morning. The kayaking was definitely a challenge, something I don't normally do. And this hiking is something I usually do, but not after already expending myself for 4.5 hours. So I have to say this was not only beautiful, but a challenge that really pushed my limits. So I think I accomplished my goal, and coming up with the next one's going to be even harder.